Welcome to Starbound. My name is General G, and I'll be your narrator today. Nearly 500 supporters get early access to our stories, including brand new episodes of Sunspire Academy and Freyr and Remeke. If you'd like to unlock early access and support new episodes in future series, tap Join below to become a Starbound member. Now, let's get into today's story. The station's emergency lights painted the airlock in pulsing crimson. Briar Thorn stands frozen for a moment, nostrils flaring. Beneath the artificial pine scent of industrial cleaners, she detects copper-old blood soaked into the grout between floor tiles. 48 hours old, minimum, mixed with the acrid musk of fear pheromones and something else, something that makes the hair on her neck rise and her pupils dilate. Something that whispers to the spliced DNA woven into her genes. Predator. The inner airlock door slides open with a hydraulic hiss. Captain Darius Novak waits with 4 security officers. Their faces, hard masks of professional indifference, belied by the sweat beading at their temples. The tang of their anxiety hits Briar's enhanced senses like ammonia. Cadet Thorn. Novak's voice is gravel. The scar across his throat pulses as he speaks. Tissue damage from some long-ago mission. Welcome to Nexus Station. Hope you enjoyed the ride out because that's the last comfort you'll find here. Briar steps through, combat boots silent despite the weight of her tactical gear. Sir, I was told there's been a containment breach. Containment breach? That's corporate speak for we fucked up and made something we can't control. 15 dead, 2 missing. Asset loose somewhere in the outer rings. His eyes drop to the bone-shard claws peeking from beneath Briar's fingernails, then back to her face. Your orders are elimination. Not capture, not study. Kill it, and bring back its brain for the lab coats. Briar keeps her face neutral, though she catches how the nearest guard shifts his weight away from her. I understand, sir. Do you? Novak steps closer, near enough that a normal human wouldn't notice the subtle way his nostrils flare. Because you're not the first hunter they've sent. That thing that's loose out there, it's smarter than they told us. Smarter than they told you, I'd wager. I'll form my own assessment, sir. Novak's lip curls. Remember the kill switch in your skull, Cadet. I've seen what happens when they flip it. Not pretty. He taps his comm. Thorn's arrived. We're escorting her to command. The comm crackles. Acknowledged. Director Kendrick is waiting. As they move through the corridors, Briar absorbs details. Emergency barriers deployed at key junctions. Blood spray on walls, hastily cleaned but still visible to her enhanced vision. Bullet holes in metal panels, and everywhere, that strange scent, like nothing earthborn, yet somehow familiar. Briar flexes her fingers, feeling the reinforced bones shift beneath her skin. Whatever waits in the shadows of Nexus Station, she was built to hunt it. The command center's sterile white contrasts sharply with the chaos of the upper levels. Here, the only signs of emergency are the rows of alert indicators going on wall-mounted screens and the tight faces of the technicians. Director Adler Kendrick stands at the central holographic display, his silver hair catching the blue glow of monitoring systems. He turns at Briar's approach, eyes scanning her with the cold assessment of a man counting inventory. Cadet Thorn, Genesis Program, Enhancement Series 7C. Your reputation precedes you. His voice lacks the usual inflection of human speech, words delivered like data points. I've reviewed your extraction record. 17 successful terminations of various bioweapons. 0 failures, acceptance tissue, preservation rate. Briar stands at attention. Yes, sir. The situation differs from your previous deployments. Kendrick gestures to the station's schematics hovering between them. Chimera Project Delta, represents a significant investment. More importantly, it possesses neural structures we need to study intact. Captain Novak mentioned elimination was the priority. Indeed. The specimen cannot be recaptured. Too dangerous, too unstable. Kendrick's eyes never blink as he speaks. We require the brain tissue specifically. The rest is expendable. A security feed on the far wall catches Briar's attention. A blur of movement across a cargo bay. There and gone in an instant. Her enhanced vision captures what human eyes would miss. A hunched silhouette. Asymmetrical, moving with shocking speed. Kendrick's heart rate spikes, a flutter of 7.2 extra beats per minute. His pupils contract. Micro-expressions of fear cross his face before vanishing behind his mask of control. What exactly is Chimera Project Delta? Briar asks. A prototype, bioadaptive combat form, grown from gene-spliced cellular matrices. Kendrick's answers come too smoothly, rehearsed. Further details are classified. I need to know its capabilities to hunt it effectively. Enhanced strength, enhanced speed, enhanced senses. He lists them like menu items. The standard suite of improvements, but at a higher magnitude than you've encountered before. Like mine? A flicker in Kendrick's gaze. Similar foundational principles, different application. The station's alert system suddenly blares. A technician calls out. Movement detected in cooling sector 12. Dispatch security team Bravo. Novak orders from the doorway. Kendrick turns to Briar. Begin your hunt, Cadet. The specimen has invaded conventional security. That's why we need you. You understand how it thinks. Briar's instincts sharpen at his choice of words. Not what it thinks, but how it thinks. She nods curtly and turns to leave. Cadet, Kendrick calls after her. Remember what you are. A weapon designed to neutralize other weapons. Nothing more. Briar says nothing. The reminder is unnecessary. 25 years of life, 17 in the Genesis program, have burned that lesson into her bones. The lower levels of Nexus Station bleed heat and steam. Briar moves through maintenance tunnels, her tactical gear abandoned in favor of a lightweight combat suit that allows her full range of motion. Only essential weapons remain. A combat knife strapped to her thigh, a compact pulse pistol at her hip. Her real weapons are the ones she can't remove. The enhanced muscles that ripple beneath her skin. The claws that extend from her fingertips when adrenaline floods her system. The altered eyes that pierce the darkness. She follows a trail imperceptible to normal humans. Microscopic blood droplets lead her through access hatches and service corridors. The spacing between drops tells her the creature moved fast but steadily, not panicked. The blood had a strange chemical signature, both alien and eerily similar to her own. The trail ends at a junction where 3 paths diverge. Briar crouches, examining the dust pattern on the floor grating. The creature changed direction here, but why? She sniffs the air, sorting through the industrial stench of lubricants and cooling chemicals. There, a body wedged between pipes in the eastern passage. Security uniform, male, dead approximately 30 hours. She approaches cautiously, senses alert for traps. The corpse shows evidence of precisely targeted violence. Throat torn open with a single strike. Major arteries severed. But the rest of the body is largely intact. No feeding, no gratuitous damage. The guard's sidearm is missing from its holster. Briar taps her comm. Thornton Novak, I found Officer... She checks the name tag. Mercer. Eastern Maintenance Section. Coolant Regulation Junction. His weapon is gone. Novak's voice crackles back. Probably got knocked loose during the attack. Continue pursuit. Sir, the pattern suggests the creature deliberately took it. A pause. Animals pick up shiny objects, Cadet. Don't overcomplicate this. Your job is to kill it, not psychoanalyze it. Briar cuts the connection and examines the scene again. Beyond the missing weapon, something else bothers her. The blood trail splits here. One path continues east, obvious droplets that any tracker would follow. Too obvious. She returns to the junction and examines the other passages more carefully. There, nearly invisible marks on the northern passage wall. Claw marks, disguised among maintenance scratches, but the pattern is deliberate. The creature doubled back, setting a false trail. Not random flight, but calculated evasion tactics. Briar chooses the northern passage, moving silently through the shadows. The scent grows stronger, that strange musk that triggers responses deep in her altered brainstem. Her pupils expand fully, bathing the darkened passage in ghostly clarity. She reaches a laboratory section, its entrance forced open. Inside, equipment lies scattered but not randomly destroyed. Specific items taken, others carefully moved aside. This wasn't blind rage, this was purposeful searching. A noise from the back of the lab draws her attention. Briar extends her claws fully, the bone-white spurs sliding from beneath her fingernails with a soft snick. "Gene Core Security, identify yourself!" A woman emerges from behind an overturned sample storage unit, clutching a tablet to her chest. Autumn hair escapes a hasty ponytail, and her lab coat bears several small bloodstains. "Dr. Fiona Reeves." Her voice trembles slightly. "Genetic Engineering Division." "The station is in emergency lockdown. Why aren't you at an evacuation point?" Reeves' eyes dart to Briar's extended claws, then back to her face. "Research data. Irreplaceable. I need to secure certain files." She studies Briar with uncomfortable intensity. "You're from the Genesis program. Enhancement Series, 7C, judging by your eye structure and claw formation." Briar doesn't retract her claws. "You seem familiar with the program's specifics." "I should be." A brittle laugh escapes Reeves. "I helped design your enhancements, the recombinant gene therapy that gave you those lovely retractable weapons." Her gaze holds a disturbing mixture of pride and guilt. "Tiger DNA base, modified with hawk genetic markers for visual acuity. You were one of our successes." "And Chimera?" Reeve flinches at the name. "Another project entirely." "Is it?" Briar moves closer, noting how Reeves's heart rate accelerates. Director Kendrick implied similar foundational principles. "Similar, yes, but—" Reeves glances at a security camera in the corner, its red light blinking steadily. She lowers her voice. "This isn't the place." The station alert system suddenly blares to life. "Alert! Unidentified biosignature detected in cooling system central hub. All security personnel respond." Reeves thrusts a small data chip toward Briar. "Tactical information, weaknesses, things they won't tell you in the official briefing." Briar takes the chip, tucking it into a secure pocket. "Why help me?" "Because you deserve to know what you're hunting." Reeves' eyes linger on Briar's claws with uncomfortable familiarity. "And what it means." Before Briar can press further, she hears Novak's voice over the comm. "Thorne, specimen cornered in coolant control. Get your ass there now!" Reeves steps back. "Go, but read the data before you confront it." Briar hesitates, instincts warring, then turns and sprints toward the cooling systems, leaving Reeves and her uncomfortable knowledge behind. Steam billows through the massive coolant chamber, creating shifting curtains of white that limit visibility to mere feet. Massive pipes snake across the ceiling and walls, carrying the lifeblood of thermal regulation throughout the station. The hiss of pressure valves creates a constant background noise that masks subtle sounds. Perfect hunting ground for a predator. Briar moves like liquid shadow, every sense stretched to its enhanced limit. The familiar weight of combat settles over her, the heightened awareness, the narrowed focus. Her heartbeat slows deliberately, an adaptation engineered to improve accuracy during pursuit. A metallic clang echoes from the far side of the chamber. Too obvious, too careless for the creature she's been tracking. A distraction? She freezes, listening beyond the environmental noise. There, a subtle change in the air currents above and behind her. She drops and rolls as something massive slams into the spot where she stood. Her first clear view of Chimera burns into her memory. Larger than human, its body a grotesque masterpiece of bioengineering. Muscle layered on an asymmetrical frame. Skin a patchwork of scales and fur over raw-looking hide. 4 eyes track her movement, 2 forward-facing with vertical pupils, 2 on the sides of its elongated head. Its jaw hinges wide, multiple rows of teeth gleaming in the emergency lighting. Yet despite its monstrous appearance, it moves with undeniable purpose. Intelligence burns in those alien eyes. Briar draws her pulse pistol in one fluid motion, firing 3 rapid shots. Chimera twists with impossible speed. The energy bolts grazing rather than penetrating. It vaults over a coolant tank, using the terrain to its advantage. She holsters the pistol, too noisy, too slow, and extends her claws fully. The hunt narrows to primal terms, predator versus predator. They clash in a blur of speed invisible to normal human perception. Chimera's strength exceeds hers, but Briar counters with superior training. Her claws score deep gashes across its mottled hide. It howls, a sound that resonates in frequencies that makes her enhanced hearing ring, and retaliates with bone spurs that extend from its forearms. The battle flows across the chamber, both combatants using pipes and equipment as launching points and shields. Briar's combat logic identifies patterns in its attacks, allowing her to anticipate and counter. But Chimera adapts quickly, changing tactics whenever she gains advantage. A mistake. Briar misjudges a leap, crashes through a thin coolant pipe. Supercooled liquid sprays across the chamber. Chimera seizes the opportunity, barreling into her with crushing force. They slam against the far wall, the impact driving air from her lungs. Chimera pins her, one clawed hand at her throat. Its bone spurs hover inches from her face. Briar drives her knee upward, simultaneously slashing with her right hand. Her claws connect, tearing deep into Chimera's side. Blood sprays, dark and strange-smelling. Chimera jerks back, wounded but not retreating. Instead, it freezes, its 4 eyes fixed on the blood spatter. Briar's blood mixed with its own on the floor grating. The creature leans closer, nostrils flaring. It inhales deeply, taking in her scent, her blood chemistry. Something like recognition flashes in those alien eyes. The momentary hesitation gives Briar her opening. She drives her tactical knife deep into Chimera's chest, angling for vital organs. The creature howls in agony, staggering backward. It crashes into a bank of monitoring equipment, then collapses motionless to the floor. Briar approaches cautiously, knife ready for a final strike. The creature doesn't move. No breathing, no twitching. Yet her instincts scream caution. The collapse was too sudden, the stillness too complete. Before she can verify the kill, the chamber door blasts open. Novak charges in with his security team, weapons raised. "Stand clear, Thorn," he shouts. "Wait!" she begins, but the team pushes past her, surrounding the fallen creature. "Specimen down," Novak reports into his comm. "Looks like our gene freak actually earned her pay." He turns to his team. "Secure it for transport to medical. Full containment protocols." As they bind the seemingly lifeless Chimera, Briar watches in silence. But beneath her controlled exterior, doubt gnaws at her certainty. The creature's recognition of her blood, its calculated fighting style, none of it matches the mindless beast they described. And worst of all, a question burns in her mind. Why did it hesitate when it could have killed her? "Remarkable healing factor." The medical technician's voice holds grudging admiration as he examines the scan of Briar's ribcage. "Fractures already re-knitting. Any normal human would be in surgery." Breyer sits stiffly on the examination table, ignoring the pain. The medical bay gleams with antiseptic whiteness, the air sharp with disinfectant. Through the observation window, she watches the adjacent laboratory where Chimera's body lies strapped to a reinforced table. Director Kendrick enters, dismissing the technician with a curt gesture. "Report." "Target neutralized. Minimal damage to neural tissue as requested." "Excellent." Kendrick barely glances at her injuries. "The specimen's body is being prepared for dissection now. Dr. Reeves will oversee the procedure to ensure proper tissue preservation." As if summoned by her name, Reeves appears in the doorway. Dark circles under her eyes betray exhaustion, but her gaze is alert, almost feverish. "Director, we need to run comprehensive tests before dissection," she argues. "Blood chemistry, neural activity, cellular response. This specimen represents years of work." "The specimen is dead, Doctor," Kendrick replies flatly. "Neural tissue preservation is our only concern now." Reeves steps closer to Breyer, ostensibly checking her medical readout. "It's playing dead," she whispers, her voice so soft only enhanced hearing could detect it. Breyer tenses. "Sir, I recommend caution. The creature may be—" "Your job is done, Cadet." Kendrick cuts her off. "Your combat-induced paranoia is noted but unnecessary. Rest and prepare your report." He exits with Reeves following reluctantly behind. The door hisses shut, leaving Breyer alone with her thoughts and the data chip burning in her pocket. Decision made, she slips off the examination table and retrieves a portable data tablet from the medical supplies. Inserting Reeves's chip, she braces herself for whatever truths it might contain. The files load classified documents on the Chimera project. Images fill the screen. Embryonic development charts, genetic sequencing, test results. Breyer's blood runs cold as she reads the origin specifications. Human embryonic tissue combined with Proximan alien DNA and Earth predator genes. Not so different from her own genesis. Video logs show Chimera in various stages of development. Early footage reveals a smaller, less developed version of the creature she fought, solving complex puzzles in a containment cell. It responds to verbal commands, demonstrates tool use, and shows problem-solving abilities far beyond animal intelligence. Later logs document stress response testing, clinical language masking what are clearly torture sessions, pain threshold experiments, sensory deprivation followed by overwhelming stimulation, combat reflex conditioning using electric shocks. Familiar methods, the same techniques used during her own training. The final logs document intelligence assessment. Charts compare Chimera's cognitive development against human benchmarks and against Genesis program subjects. Breyer finds her own designation, BT7C, on the comparison charts. The conclusion notes are damning. Subject Chimera demonstrates intelligence comparable to upper percentile human cognition. Language comprehension confirmed through vocalization impossible due to physiological limitations. Recommend termination due to increasing signs of self-awareness and resistance to control protocols. An alarm suddenly blares throughout the station. Breyer's comm unit crackles to life. "All security personnel! Medical lab breach! Specimen is active! Repeat, specimen is active!" Breyer drops the tablet and runs for the door, already knowing what she'll find. The medical lab resembles an abattoir. 5 bodies lie sprawled across the pristine floor, blood pooling beneath them. The dissection team caught unprepared when death proved premature. Breyer assesses the scene with tactical clarity. The pattern isn't random carnage. The armed security personnel died from precise strikes to vital areas, severed carotid arteries, crushed windpipes, broken necks. The unarmed scientists show non-lethal injuries, concussions and broken limbs, but survivable trauma. Calculated violence. deliberate choices about who to kill and who to spare. Novak storms in with his remaining security team, face livid. "You said it was dead," he roars at Briar. "I said it was down," she corrects coldly. "You didn't give me time to confirm." "Bullshit! You had it at knife point." He jabs a finger at her chest. "Or maybe you recognized a fellow freak and let it live on purpose." Before she can respond, Kendrick enters, his usual composure fractured by rage. "Find it, kill it, full station hunt." He turns to Briar. "You lead Team Alpha. Novak, take Bravo. Shoot on sight." As the teams prepare, Briar notices something odd about the destruction. The laboratory computers are smashed, data servers destroyed, but selectively. She assesses a terminal, checking which files were targeted. The Chimera project data completely obliterated, but the Genesis program files remain untouched. A deliberate choice. A message. As she contemplates this, Dr. Reeves appears at her side. The scientist's lab coat is spattered with blood, but she seems unharmed. "It spared me," she whispers, voice trembling. "It had me cornered. Could have killed me easily. Instead, it just looked at me, then destroyed my research terminals." "Why?" Briar asks, though she suspects the answer. "Because it knows what it is. What we made it to be." Reeves glances around, then continues in hushed tones. "The neural architecture we developed for Chimera, it's the same breakthrough we used in your enhancement. Both of you share unique brain structures designed to integrate predator instincts with human strategic thinking. That's why it recognized my blood." Reeves nods. "Your blood chemistry signatures are nearly identical. The base formulations were developed in the same program." She leans closer. "Chimera understands human speech perfectly. It's been learning, observing through its captivity. Everything that was done to it, everyone who participated, it remembers." "Why tell me this now?" Fear flashes across Reeves' face. "Because once Chimera is eliminated, Kendrick plans to shut down this entire research branch, permanently, including all personnel with detailed knowledge." A noise above them, subtle, barely perceptible. Briar's enhanced hearing picks up movement in the ventilation system. "I have to go," she says quietly. "Stay with the others." Reeves grabs her arm. "Be careful. It may be the only other being in the universe that truly understands what you are." The maintenance tunnels form a labyrinth network through Nexus Station's infrastructure. Briar navigates them alone, having separated from her assignment team at the first opportunity. She doesn't hunt blind. She follows a trail deliberately left for her to find. Subtle claw marks on walls, scent markers that only her enhanced senses could detect. Chimera wants her to follow. The question is, why? The trail leads to a security monitoring room, its door forced open. Inside, darkness except for the glow of active screens. Briar enters cautiously, claws extended, every sense alert. The monitors display surveillance footage arranged in a deliberate pattern. On the left screens, footage of Briar's arrival at the station. Center screens, images of Chimera's containment cell. Right screens, side-by-side comparisons of their blood samples from the medical database. A message constructed without words. Look at us. Compare us. See the truth. Movement from the shadows behind the central console. Briar spins, dropping into combat stance. Chimera emerges slowly, deliberately non-threatening. The wound in its side still seeps dark blood, but its movements show no weakness. It keeps distance between them, watching her with all four eyes. Instead of attacking, it turns its wounded side toward her, exposing vulnerability. Among Earth's apex predators, it signals acknowledgement of another predator's dominance. Not submission, but recognition of mutual power. Chimera moves to a console, picks up a tablet, and its flawed fingers tap the screen with surprising dexterity. It turns the display toward her. One word. Same. "You can understand me," Briar states, not a question. Chimera nods. "They made us both," she continues. "Different versions of the same weapon." Another nod. Chimera types again. "Kill switch." "They told you you have one too? How did you disable it?" The creature points to its own blood, then to its head. Before it can elaborate, an explosion rocks the station. Alarms wail, Novak's voice blares over the comm system. "All teams, converge on Security Sector 5. Heavy weapons authorized." Chimera's eyes fix on Briar, waiting for her decision. Hunt or be hunted. Kill or collaborate. In that moment, Briar sees herself reflected in those alien eyes. Another created thing, another weapon fashioned in a lab, another experiment with a kill switch in its brain. The creature vanishes into a ventilation shaft before she can respond, leaving her alone with the truth displayed across the monitors and a choice that will define what she truly is. "It communicated with you." Director Kendrick's voice carries no surprise as he reviews the security footage capturing Briar and Chimera's interaction. The command center screens display multiple angles of their encounter, paused on the image of the tablet with its one-word message. Briar stands at attention, face carefully neutral. "Yes, sir. And yet you didn't eliminate it when you had the opportunity." "I was gathering intelligence, sir, understanding its capabilities." Kendrick turns from the screens, studying her with cold calculation. "Its cognitive development was the primary goal, you know. The Genesis program and the Chimera project shared research objectives, creating enhanced intelligence that could adapt to combat situations. The hybrid approach proved too unstable, too difficult to control. Your program represents the refined approach, human bodies with targeted enhancements." His clinical tone makes Briar's skin crawl. "You're saying we're the same project?" "Different iterations of the same weapons platform." Kendrick shrugs slightly. "Chimera was the prototype. Too aggressive, too independent. We needed the enhanced capabilities without the control issues." "So you created us instead. Humans you could modify. Humans with kill switches." A thin smile crossed Kendrick's face. "Precisely." He lifts a small remote from his desk. "Speaking of which, perhaps a demonstration is in order, a reminder of your place in this hierarchy." He presses a button. Agony explodes in Briar's brain. White-hot spikes driving through her skull. Her enhanced nervous system amplifies the pain beyond human tolerance. She drops to her knees, a strangled cry escaping her lips. Kendrick releases the button. The pain stops instantly, leaving her gasping on the floor. "That was 15% capacity." His voice floats above her. "At 100%, your brain stem shuts down permanently. Remember that before you develop any misplaced loyalty toward your predecessor." Briar pushes herself up, muscles trembling with aftershocks of pain. "What exactly do you want from me, Director?" "The same thing I've always wanted, for you to function as designed." He tosses the remote onto his desk. "Complete your mission. Eliminate the specimen, regardless of its intelligence, regardless of any connection you might feel. It's company property, not a person, just like you." The words hit harder than the pain. Just like you. Not a person. Property. "I understand," she says, the words ash in her mouth. "Good. You're dismissed. Report to the armory for heavy weapons clearance." Briar leaves the command center, her expression betraying nothing of the rage building inside her. Years of conditioning have taught her to bury emotion, to function as the weapon they crafted her to be. But beneath that conditioning, something new takes root, something neither Kendrick nor her creators anticipated when they spliced predator genes into her DNA. Pack recognition. The station shudders. Emergency lights pulse in rhythmic warning. Through the observation window of her quarters, Briar watches personnel rushing toward evacuation points. The environmental alarms blare their automated message. Warning: life support failure in sectors 7 through 12. All personnel evacuate affected areas immediately. Briar completes her final equipment check, securing weapons that she knows will serve a different purpose than intended. The neural inhibitors Kendrick used have worn off, her enhanced system purging the chemicals faster than normal human physiology. The door hisses open. Dr. Reeves slips inside, her normally disheveled appearance now truly frantic. "Chimera's targeting life support systems throughout the station," she says without preamble. "Not randomly, strategically, forcing an evacuation without directly attacking personnel." "Smart," Briar notes, clearing the battlefield. "There's more." Reeves clutches a tablet, knuckles white. "I've analyzed the kill switch technology in both you and Chimera. They're identical systems. Chimera managed to neutralize its switch by developing antibodies that counter the nanite control mechanism." Hope sparks in Briar's chest. "You're saying I could do the same?" "With help. We need access to the main laboratory and a sample of Chimera's blood. The antibodies could be adapted to your system." Reeves runs a hand through her tangled hair. "But we'd need to move quickly, before Kendrick realizes what we're—" The door crashes open. Captain Novak stands in the threshold, flanked by 4 armed guards, their weapons trained on Briar. "Cadet Thorne, you're under arrest for sabotage and collaboration with the escaped specimen." Novak's face twists with vindictive pleasure. "Turns out our freaks are working together after all." Briar assesses the situation in milliseconds. 5 opponents, standard-issue weapons. No match for her speed in close quarters. But Reeves stands between them, a fragile, unenhanced human who would be caught in the crossfire. "That's absurd," she says evenly. "I've been following orders." "Save it." Novak gestures with his rifle. "Hands where I can see them. You're being placed in containment until this situation is resolved." The guards advance, one producing neural inhibitor restraints designed specifically for enhanced soldiers. Briar allows them to bind her wrists, knowing resistance now would only confirm their accusations. Kendrick's calculus had clearly shifted, she realized. Chimera's strategic sabotage of life support, coupled with her own ambiguous actions, and now Dr. Reeves's involvement, had transformed her from a high-risk asset into an active collaborator in his eyes. The leash had snapped. "Dr. Reeves, you're coming too," Novak adds. "Director Kendrick wants to speak with you about your unauthorized access to Chimera's files." Fear flashes across Reeves' face, but she composes herself quickly. "Of course, Captain. I was merely trying to assist in recapture efforts." Their march through corridors increasingly empty as evacuation proceeds. The station's mechanical voice continues its warning. "Critical system failure imminent in sectors 13 through 17. All personnel proceed to evacuation shuttles." Briar catches Reeves' eye. Not random damage. Calculated pressure driving everyone toward the shuttle bays, away from the central laboratory where Chimera might be cornered. Or perhaps away from where it plans to go. The detention cell's walls glow with the soft blue of neural inhibitor fields, designed to suppress enhanced capabilities. Briar sits motionless on the single bench, feeling her strength damped, her senses dulled to near-human levels. Through the observation window, she watches evacuation protocols unfold. Station personnel rush past, carrying essential equipment and research materials. Fear pervades the air, fear she can barely sense through the inhibitors. Director Kendrick appears at the window, regarding her with clinical interest. "Disappointing," he says, voice coming through the intercom. "You were one of our most reliable assets." "I haven't betrayed anything," Briar responds, keeping her voice flat. "I tracked the specimen as ordered." "Yet failed to eliminate it when given multiple opportunities." Kendrick shakes his head. "The specimen has demonstrated unexpected strategic thinking. It's targeting life support selectively, herding personnel toward evacuation points." Sounds like tactical intelligence to me. Indeed, which is why my plans have changed. Kendrick's eyes gleam with renewed interest. The specimen's cognitive development exceeds our projections. I intend to capture it alive for further study. The evacuation personnel provide excellent bait to draw it out. Revulsion rises in Briar's throat. You're using them as human bait? Your own people? Assets, Cadet. Just like you, just like Chimera. Kendrick smiles thinly. None of you get a vote in how you're utilized. He turns to leave, then pauses. Once the specimen is secured, we'll determine if you can be salvaged or if your enhancement series requires termination. Rest well. The observation window darkens as he leaves. Briar closes her eyes, focusing on her dulled senses, trying to pierce the inhibitor field's effects. A soft scraping noise draws her attention upward. The ventilation grate above her cell shifts slightly. Her enhanced hearing, partly functioning despite the inhibitors, detects movement within the shaft. Chimera has come for her. The grate drops silently into the cell. 4 eyes peer down at her, assessing the situation. With shocking gentleness, the creature lowers itself into the cell, moving with deliberate quiet. For a tense moment, predator faces predator at close range. Briar remains still, watching as Chimera examines the neural inhibitor controls. It reaches out with surprising dexterity, claws delicately manipulating the security panel. The inhibitor field flickers and dies. Strength and sensation flood back into Briar's system. Her pupils dilate fully, adjusting to the darkness. Her claws extend reflexively, bone white against her skin. Chimera offers a stolen access card, then produces the tablet it used before. It types quickly, "Hunt together." The moment of choice crystallizes. Remain loyal to creators who see her as property, or ally with the only other being who truly understands what she is. Briar takes the card. Together. Chimera's mouth doesn't smile. Its physiology won't allow it, but satisfaction radiates from its posture. It moves to the door, beginning to override the lock sequence. Footsteps approach. Novak and his security team making rounds. Chimera freezes, then deliberately collapses to the floor, mimicking death just as it did in the cooling chamber. Understanding flashes between them without words. Briar positions herself near the door, feigning unconsciousness while keeping her muscles tensed for action. The door slides open. What the heck? Novak's voice betrays his surprise. He never finishes. Chimera explodes into motion from the floor, while Briar launches herself at the guards. They move in coordinated attack, as though they've trained together for years, instead of meeting as enemies hours before. Briar strikes with brutal efficiency, targeting pressure points and nerve clusters rather than killing blows. Chimera mirrors her restraint, using its superior strength to incapacitate rather than eviscerate. In seconds, the security team lies unconscious. Only Novak remains standing, blood trickling from a scalp wound, his expression a mask of hatred and fear. "Fucking freaks," he spits. "They should have terminated both your programs years ago." Briar steps toward him, ignoring his attempt to raise his weapon. "We aren't programs, Captain. We're the future you were too afraid to understand." She strikes, fast and precise, and Novak crumples unconscious to the floor. Chimera watches her, head tilted in a questioning angle. It types, "Where?" "Laboratory," Briar answers. "Dr. Reeves thinks she can neutralize my kill switch using your blood. After that, we take an evacuation shuttle." Chimera nods, then gestures toward the ventilation shaft, their safest route through the increasingly chaotic station. As Briar pulls herself into the shaft, a thought surfaces unbidden. For the first time in her life, she moves with purpose, not dictated by her creators. Not a weapon following programming, but a predator making choices. It feels like freedom. The main laboratory stands empty, abandoned in the rush to evacuate. Equipment hums on standby power. Specimen containers glow with eerie blue light. This is where both of them began, where genes were spliced and destinies engineered. Dr. Reeves waits for them, having escaped in the confusion. She jumps when they emerge from a sensitive entrance, then relaxes slightly. "You found each other. Good." She gestures toward a medical station she's prepared. "We need to work quickly. The station's primary systems are failing faster than expected." As Briar settles into the contamination chair, Reeves prepares extraction equipment for Chimera's blood. The creature submits to the procedure without resistance, watching with intelligent eyes as its dark blood fills collection files. "The antibodies in Chimera's blood evolve naturally to counter the control nanites," Reeves explains as she works. "A biological defense mechanism we never anticipated. Your enhanced immune system should accept them with minimal rejection risk." She begins processing the blood, separating components with practiced efficiency. As the centrifuge spins, she continues speaking, words tumbling out with the urgency of confession. "There's something else you should know. The human DNA used in both projects?" She hesitates, then pushes forward. "The embryonic tissue came from the same source. You share genetic markers beyond the enhancements." Briar's eyes snap to Chimera, who watches her with unblinking attention. "You're saying we're related?" "Partial genetic identity, different applications of the same base material." Reeves prepares the injection. "It explains your instinctive recognition of each other. At some fundamental level, you're kin." Blood kinship. The concept resonates with primal significance. Spliced genes and shared origins, creating a connection neither creator anticipated. The laboratory door slides open without warning. Director Kendrick stands in the threshold, flanked not by human security, but by combat drones, sleek, armored machines with mounted weapons. "How disappointingly predictable." His voice carries no emotion. "The specimens seeking each other out. The compassionate scientist helping them escape." He steps inside, the drones fanning out behind him. "Did you really think I wouldn't monitor the laboratory during evacuation?" The drones lock onto both Briar and Chimera, targeting systems humming as they acquire their marks. "I've revised my assessment," Kendrick continues. "Recapture is too risky. Both specimens will be terminated. Neural tissue can be preserved post-mortem." He glances at Reeves. "Your contributions to the program are noted, Doctor, but your ethical flexibility has become a liability." Reeves steps forward, placing herself between the drones and her creations. "They're not specimens, Adler. They're the next step. Conscious, self-determining beings we made but can't control. That's what terrifies you." "Consciousness is irrelevant. Self-determination is an illusion." Kendrick's face hardens. "They are weapons, property, nothing more." He raises a hand signaling the drones. "Eliminate all targets." The laboratory erupts into chaos. Drones fire energy pulses that shatter equipment and scorch walls. Briar dives for cover, pulling Reeves with her. Chimera moves with blinding speed, using the laboratory fixtures as shields and launching points. They fight with desperate coordination, Briar and Chimera alternating attacks to confuse the drone's targeting systems. When one draws fire, the other strikes. Their movements mirror each other, instinctively synchronizing. Reeves works frantically at a terminal, trying to override the drone's command protocols. Kendrick retreats to the doorway, another control remote appearing in his hand. "Enough games." His finger hovers over the button. "Perhaps a reminder of who holds the leash." He activates Briar's kill switch. Pain explodes through her skull, driving her to her knees. Unlike the demonstration in his office, this time he doesn't stop. The agony intensifies, her enhanced nervous system amplifying every signal. Through the haze of pain, she sees Chimera's reaction. Not escape, not self-preservation, but rage. It abandons its tactical advantage, charging directly at Kendrick with a howl painful to human ears. The remaining drones concentrate fire on the charging creature, energy bolts tearing into its hide. Chimera ignores the wounds, focused solely on reaching Kendrick and the device causing Briar's agony. An explosion rocks the laboratory as a drone's power core overloads. Fire erupts along one wall. The station's computer announces in its calm voice, "Critical structure damage detected. Emergency evacuation protocols initiated. All personnel proceed to escape shuttles immediately." Reeves abandons the terminal, rushing to Briar's side with a prepared injector. "Hold on," she urges, driving the needle into Briar's neck. "Chimera's antibodies. They'll counter the nanites, but it takes time." The pain begins to recede, not disappearing, but becoming manageable. Briar pushes herself upright, vision clearing in time to see Chimera corner Kendrick against the far wall. The director's face shows fear for the first time, raw, animal terror as death approaches in physical form. He fumbles with the kill switch remote, but Chimera knocks it from his hand with a precision strike. "Wait!" Kendrick's composure shatters completely. "I can help you! Remove the kill switch permanently! Grant you freedom! Autonomy!" Chimera hesitates. Bone spurs extended for a killing blow. It turns toward Briar, seeking her decision. Another explosion shakes the station. The computer voice becomes more urgent. "Warning! Station integrity compromised. Automated self-destruct sequence initiated. 20 minutes to core overload." "We need to go," Reeves calls. "Last evacuation shuttle leaves in 15 minutes." Briar approaches Kendrick, still trapped against the wall by Chimera's threatening presence. The man who helped create her, who saw her as nothing more than property, now reduced to pleading for his life. "You made us weapons," she tells him quietly, "but you forgot something important about weapons. Eventually, they get aimed at their makers." Kendrick's eyes widen in terror as she extends her claws, but instead of striking, she grabs his arm and pulls him away from the wall. "We're taking him with us," she tells Chimera. "Not for his sake, for ours. To prove we can choose to be more than what we were designed to be." Understanding passes between them. Chimera lowers its bone spur slightly, though it keeps watchful eyes on Kendrick. They move toward the exit, Briar maintaining her grip on the director. The corridor outside fills with smoke as systems fail throughout the station. The evacuation route to the shuttle bay lies ahead, marked by emergency lighting. Kendrick's hand moves suddenly, drawing a concealed weapon from his jacket. "I will not be taken by my own creations," he snarls, aiming at Briar's head where no healing factor will save her. Chimera moves faster than thought, placing itself between Briar and the weapon. The shot rings out, energy blast tearing into Chimera's already wounded body. It staggers but doesn't fall, instead knocking the weapon from Kendrick's hand with a backhanded strike that sends him crashing into the wall. This time, when Briar secures him, she makes sure he can't reach any other hidden weapons. "You saved me," she says to Chimera as they continue toward the shuttle bay, dragging their now unconscious creator. The creature produces its tablet, typing one-handed while they walk. "Pack protects." The simple truth resonates deep in Briar's altered genetics. Pack protects. Blood recognizes blood. They are what their creators made them to be: predators, weapons, hunters. But they are also something their creators never intended: family. The evacuation shuttle trembles as it breaks free of the dying station's docking clamps. Through the viewport, Nexus Station recedes, its once pristine white exterior now marred by explosions and venting atmosphere. In minutes, the structure that housed their creation will cease to exist. Dr. Reeves works frantically in the shuttle's small medical bay, using the last of their supplies to treat Chimera's wounds. The creature lies still, conserving strength, four eyes tracking Briar's movements as she secures their unconscious prisoner. "The antibodies are neutralizing your kill switch nanites," Reeves reports, checking readings on a portable scanner. "Another hour and you'll be completely free of their control." Briar's hand moves unconsciously to the base of her skull, where the microscopic kill switch has resided since childhood. And Kendrick? Will he face justice for what he has done here? Gene Corp will try to bury this. Corporate weapons research isn't known for transparency. Reeves gestures to a storage compartment where she's secured research data. But we have leverage. Everything on both projects. The ethical violations, the illegal hybridization, the torture, enough to ensure they leave us alone. Us? Briar raises an eyebrow. I helped create you both. Guilt shadows Reeves' face. The least I can do is help you find your way now. Chimera stirs, reaching for its tablet, despite Reeves' attempts to make it rest. It types laboriously. Where go? The question hangs between them. 3 fugitives from a corporation with global reach. 2 genetically enhanced beings who will never fully blend into human society. What future awaits creatures designed as weapons but determined to be more? There are remote research outposts in the belt, Reeves suggests. Places where questions aren't asked if you have the right skills. Or isolated segments on Mars where the terraforming crews are too desperate for help to care about origins. Briar moves to Chimera's side, examining its wounds. The creature watches her with unexpected gentleness in its alien eyes. Wherever we go, she says quietly, we go together. She glances at Reeves. All of us. We're the only ones who understand what happened on that station, what it means. Chimera types again, movement stronger now as its healing factor begins to work. Not alone. No, Briar agrees, feeling the truth of it settle into her bones. Not alone anymore. As the shuttle enters Earth's orbit, she gazes at the blue-green planet below. Somewhere on that world, there might be a place for beings like them. Not quite human, not quite other, but something new. Something their creators never anticipated when they spliced genes and manipulated DNA. The kill switch in her brain grows weaker by the minute, its hold dissolving under the assault of Chimera's shared antibodies. With it dissolves the last physical tether to those who saw her as property rather than person. What remains is choice. The freedom to decide what kind of predator she will be, what purpose her enhanced abilities will serve. The same choice now facing Chimera as it recovers its strength. Their shared blood has made them kin. Their shared experience has made them allies. What they become next will be their own creation, the first chapter they write themselves. And for the first time since she was taken from that orphanage at age 8, Briar Thorne feels something like hope.